Гранис е продуктов специалист в SoftOne Technologies. Кариерата си в сферата на бизнес софтуера започва преди повече от 10 години като ERP интегратор, девелопър и IT консултант на малки и средни международни фирми. В последните 4 години Тео е продуктов специалист в SoftOne и член на международния отдел за проучвания и развитие на компанията. Той ще направи демонстрация на ERP решението SoftOne.
Last time I heard so many things about me was during my divorce. Now, thank you very much for choosing us. That's the first thing to say. Now we're going to get our hands a little more dirty. This is why I'm pulling up my sleeves. I switched in my technical mode. And we will start with a very brief presentation. It's going to be about 60 slides, not more than that. In order to understand how SoftOne works and what's the actual competitive advantage of the system. In a nutshell, we are able to work with SoftOne either on-premise or on cloud. It's upon our decision. Each and every decision obviously has its upsides and downsides. We suggest cloud solution simply because it's not only the trend, it's technically the best. Why is that? In an on-premise installation, most of the management of the operation is being taken care of by you, by yourselves. While in the rest of the cases, when we move on to Azure, and especially for us, Microsoft provides infrastructure as a service, Azure for us is platform as a service, but you enjoy in the end software as a service. And in this case, you have all the middleware, the operating system, the application server, the data, of course. Everything is being handled by SoftOne, so you don't need to do anything. Exactly like in every cloud infrastructure as we know it today. Now, when it comes to actual portfolio of SoftOne, we have obviously the core of the system, which is the ERP. Embedded, we have a CRM system, accounting functionalities and operation, payroll, human resources management. And then we move on to the web and mobile world, where we can have a Salesforce automation application, a mobile CRM application. We will see about the rest of them, web report and quick view. And then we also provide process automation as a service. With actual e-invoicing and e-statements, we are able to issue massively almost 2 million invoices within a matter of 1 hour. And out-of-the-box EDI to connect into any third business platform and a B2B application. SoftOne was designed to be Windows native. This means that it is the core of the system is actually a Windows application, so that we are able to have 100% of the functionality on Windows operating systems. That doesn't mean, though, that we cannot operate in other operating systems. We're able to work using macOS, Linux, Chromebook, whatever we have, and to work using the web interface of SoftOne. And in case we have our mobile devices, it can be Android, it can be iOS. We're not going to argue which is the best. We all know that Android is the best. But whichever of application we have, we're able to have either a local native application, or we can use a web browser. The basic promise of SoftOne is that it is different. It is really different. And for that, let's consider for a moment how we listen to music today. Most probably we listen to music with an MP3 format. We have our own playlists. Then we store them somewhere if we don't use streaming. And then we are able, depending on the headphones or the speakers that we use, we're going to have a quite similar experience when it comes to the sound quality, right? More or less the same stands for SoftOne, which is divided into distinctive layers. In the left side, we see the core engine of the system, which is responsible to compress, to provide security into the data which are being transmitted. And then we have the application dictionary and the business code. This is where the actual developers get their hands dirty. And in the top right part, we have the abstract user interface. And the user interface is what people conceive. But wait, not only people. Even if we have a PLC, even if we have a third-party software, even if we have an eShop, or a third-party web application, which is going to post data into SoftOne, those data are going to be posted on the application level. So actually, the application is going to have the same impact into the system exactly like users have, in the exactly same way. This is the reason that our promise on our side, and this is a true story, we promise that even though most of the ERP system out there, they more or less start with the same starting point. They have a very similar starting point. In the end, we are able to go faster for one reason, because every functionality of the system is severely optimized. Now, the system is modular. It's one and unique. Regardless of what we are going to purchase, it's going to have all the modules of the system inside, period. Even if we don't have production, even if we don't choose to go with budgeting, this functionality is going to be embedded into the system. We are simply not going to have access in order to view it. What happens if we want to add it? When we go on Azure, so we work on cloud, in this case, the only thing that we need to do is just simply restart the system, provided that we have contacted already our seller and we have acquired this module. There it is, the functionality is there, so the consultant is able to speak with us and help us. So in this case, we're able to see that we can add or remove modules according to our requirements. So we start low, because we are now in the beginning of our transformation. We start to implement only the operations that we want, and then gradually we move ahead, adding the rest of the modules, scaling up or scaling down, regardless of what we want. And the additional value of an experienced partner like Balkan Services is that they are trained, they know that they can build on top of this platform. Now, this is not something I'm going to refer to today, because this is not a deep technical session, but the developers from Balkan Center, they use the exact same development tools as our native developers use. This is why, when it comes to custom objects or custom operation, SoftOne is completely agnostic that something is custom. It is working exactly as it was part and core of the system. And of course, every functionality has to be available globally in any kind of operation. Now, what about the users? We saw some things before, but now we're going to see that we are able to have quite faster implementation, quite faster operations by the users themselves. So enough said. Let's switch into an actual demo of the system. I am using now the cloud model of the system. It is exactly the same whether we work on-premise or cloud. The only difference is this small icon over here. In the left side, we see the default system menu, which is divided into 6+1 entities. Every functionality of the system is included in here. So we have commercial functionality, including sales, purchases, stock management, and this is a tree menu, actually. So it includes stock items, lots management, serial numbers, item kitting, multiple variations like color and size. Trading parties, where we keep customers, suppliers, and if we need to have an additional leveling, we have debtors and creditors. Beneath that, for service renderers, for companies that provide services, more like ourselves, we provide the full set of services, including service folders, which is intended to be designed for companies who apply technical services. Like let's say we have a company that provides technical services for cars, or a company which provides services for white appliances. Project management, a full-scale project management, which is fully embedded into the rest of the ERP functionality. Whenever we create a project, it has income, outcome, inflows, outflows. It has its own balance. It even has its own inventory availability. Extremely useful. I'm sweating right now because all of the lights are on me. Which is extremely useful because we are able to manage all the inventory we need per project. Contract management, including subscriptions and contract to the state or with inventories. Installations management, in order to know which are the installations that our customers have and which are the appliances, the devices that we have sold them with serial numbers, with their own service history. Everything can be included in here. A resources management, and the resource can be for us an employee. It can be a vehicle. It can be a training room. It can be anything, any fixed asset which makes sense to us. And any resource has its own calendar plus availability. So tomorrow I'm going to take this car, which is going to be an Opel Astra, and I'm going to go to Plovdiv, so it will not be available from that time to that time. Manufacturing, full-scale manufacturing with MRP and MRP2, with bill of materials or bill to order. Financial management, and in this case, we are able to monitor all of our bank accounts, including every monetary account, not only cash accounts. And by the way, it's useful to mention that we are waiting now for the certification in order to be fully certified for the new retail law in here. But other than that, we are able to monitor monetary accounts, like let's say we are going to provide 100 lever to our truck driver, and so he's going to be debited, and then we have to credit him in order to receive the money back. Full-scale international transactions with import and export costing. Accounting, of course, general ledger included into the system, and it is horizontally connected to every other module that we have seen so far. Even services provide directly links to accounting. Even installations can be a variable for our chart of accounts. It is useful to say that we're able also to have multiple chart of accounts. So, and especially this is a case, a true story in Bulgaria, where a company has been purchased, acquired by a French group. They operate in the Bulgarian chart of accounts, but their French group wishes to have a P&L in the French chart of accounts. Full-scale fixed assets module with primary and alternative depreciations. A budgeting module where we can create our own forecasts per entity, either for purchases or for sales or for expenses, or even for activity-based costing, and we will see a very nice example of activity-based costing. CRM, and this is not a traditional CRM as we know it only where it comes to managing sales. It's mostly about managing actions, every action that our employee is going to take. Example, a fantastic Nutella competitor, which is in Serbia, they wanted to have to monitor whenever an employee was accessing their R&D room where they will be testing and trying new flavors. This was posted inside the system and managed into the system. Human resources and payroll, and then the rest of the company processes. Now, skip the menu, and in here, all these desktop that we see is quite similar to the widgets that we get from the Android devices. This is adaptive per user, and there are no limitations at all when it comes to what we need to implement. Dashboards, result, numeric KPIs, flows, which are fully interactive, anything that makes sense into our company, as well as even 3D illustrations with actual online information on our company. And exactly because we're interested mostly in our performance, why not have a two-click information when it comes to how our company is doing into either per branch or even per department of our company. Now, I know you're not maniacs here with basketball, but what can I say? I am a basketball lover. So we are even able to create gamification methods, to implement gamification. Like, this is our team, this is our sales team, and regardless if we are going to win some sales opportunity, we are getting points. Or perhaps we are losing points. Now, this is a very rough and very quick presentation, but what if we had, from the very first transaction of our business, from our commercial entities, not account the net position of our company? This is available regardless of the business model that we are going to work with, regardless of the modules that we are going to purchase. This is available in every installation since the first time that you're going to post the first transaction into your system. Now, this refers to the Windows application, but what happens when we're going to use a web interface? And for this reason, there is the extension of the system, which is called S360. And the web interface of the system is the extension of the system itself. It shows a very nice web interface with specific operations, all the operations that make sense to us. But okay, this is not good enough because perhaps, okay, we will be able to satisfy all of our users who are using Mac OS or Linux. What happens with the rest of the users which have the only mobile devices? So for this reason, I'm going to gain access into my cell phone. And this is my fantastic screen. And now have a look. No, I fooled you. This is not S360. This is actually my daughter's application. This is the extension of Soft1. There is a local application, there is a web service as well, a web server. We're able to authenticate either via username, password, or via our fingerprint. And now this is the experience that I'm going to give into this user. And in this case, I am navigating, perhaps because he's my salesman. So I'm going to navigate him into doing what? These are the visits that you have to do. So you have to go to this address here, to this ulica here. And since you are here, why don't you take a very nice picture? And I will just take a picture of you. And now it's automatically uploaded on my Dropbox. It's linked into my system. I can write my comments. I can save it. And the rest of the company has already access into this transaction, which I just did. Similarly, I can monitor my meetings or monitor my contacts. Or showcase a very nice showroom of the items which I need to sell. I can add them into a basket so that I can then proceed to a checkout and sell them into my customer. Now, most of the questions here are, okay, but how do I know the inventory? Yes, I have full inventory control. Am I able to have my pricing policies because I have specific promotions? Yes, you can have. What we see here is not a static application, and this is the reason that Microsoft was awarded by Microsoft itself as the best mobile application in 2017. And the reason is that this is not a static application. We have over 2,000 installations of S360. None of it is quite similar to another. Why? Because all of the parameterization of this application is being set up by SoftOne itself. And you don't need to have any technical experience to do it. Almost 40% of the parameterization is being held by the customers, by the users themselves. Okay, not a novice user, but a power user is able to do it with less contact and less requirements to the partners themselves. What does this mean for the partner? Of course, that they are able to focus into more important things like providing actual and most complicated functionality to your cases. But then I told you that skip and forget things like this. Let's move into here. Hello, Eva. No weather. Eva. Anyway, hello. Hi, okay. Show me my meetings. When are you going to have meetings? Today, this week. Okay, let's see for this week. You have 6 meetings. So now, even though I was just on Messenger, I'm being directed in order to see the meetings that I still have pending in front of me. Okay, show me my next meeting. this is the next meeting that you have, and you could receive what is the pending time for this until you have the actual meeting. Which are my calls? The same thing. These are the calls that I received. My secretary posted them inside the system, so I'm able to have access into it. But let's see other thing. Show me more options. She can answer questions, lead to jobs and operations, and send notifications. Let's see which are the operations that we can have. Show me my workflow. And these are the workflows that have been assigned to this user. And in this case, again, without accessing into SoftOne, I am able to have some new options. But let's do another thing. Post new order. New customer order, new order to supplier, or to watch or to view the existing customers' orders, or to view orders to suppliers. No, let's set a new customer order. The system expects now your customer's name. Let's type a part of it because I don't remember the full name of the customer. These are the results. I want you to show me this one here. Now I have an item here which is oil for the cars, for car engine oil. So I see here full list of the options that I have. I can choose this. Give me the item's quantity. Let's say 23 liters. Do you want to another? No, complete order. And now what do you want to do? Perhaps save it into the system. But something went wrong. So it's not posted into the system. Let's feed back for a moment. And to conclude this, I'm going to create an expense. Let's say it's going to be for fuel. It's going to be 120 level, let's say. What I got here is just a message that what you are trying to do cannot generate automatically an accounting link. So the system will try to create automatically a chart of accounts post. And it didn't run. Now, let's have a look on business processes and call it a day. I mentioned earlier about BAM, Business Automation Machine. And Business Automation Machine is an area where we can design our own workflows so that they make sense for our company, like this one over here. And in a visual way, we are able to design that. What happens if we have an expense which is larger than 100 level, then create a question. If it's larger, then automatically approve it. If it's less than 100 level, automatically approve it. If it's more than 100 level, or euro or whatever currency, then do the next question. Is it more or less than 1,000 level euro? If it is less than 1,000, then the only thing that you need is just an approval from your manager, from your department manager, let's say. And in this case, send him an email asking him whether he's going to approve it or not. And he's going to be even asked here on Eva. Perhaps he's going to receive something via Messenger, via Skype or Facebook Messenger. Or in case that it is larger than 1,000, then create two tasks. Send either an email to the financial manager or perhaps the general manager, or both. And once both approve, then and only then approve the document. In a similar way, we are able to design all the complexities of processes that make sense to us, regardless of the depth that they have, regardless of the processes that we have. And since they are in a designable interface, all the time that we need in order to perform it, to implement it, is split in half. And the most important thing about it is that whenever you have a 60 nodes process to be executed, you do not need to wait for it to be executed because it's asynchronous. There is an independent server which manages it. You are continuing with your lives. You don't need to do anything else. We're taking care of it. We are taking care of it. You don't need to wait for nothing. And you are noticed in a visual interface on the progress of each and every business process that you have. So thank you very much. SoftOne Bulgaria is available for you. We have a group of exceptional scientists, our colleagues in here. We're always available with Balkan services and their exceptional team as well to assist you. Thank you very much.